out of his mind.
Darby! We just witnessed the dumbest spot in professional wrestling history. Now, I know you're ready to gear up your machine guns of words, AEW fans, but relax. I don't care if you watch it. I don't care which wrestling promotion you prefer and the one that you love the most. Shit like this is dumb. There's been a plethora of spots in pro wrestling history, and I know someone can reference that one time a random guy was thrown off the Tower of Doom in front of 7 people and he did it for a hot dog, or the time that Mick Foley fell off the cell, or the other time he fell off the cell, or the other time he fell off the cell. We get it. Mick Foley's crazy. Or when Shane McMahon was thrown off the cell, or he fell off that big thing, or that other time. But it's different, and I'm going to explain it to you why. Jumping through real glass is dumb. And I know I just referenced Mick Foley and Shane McMahon, but there is a difference. There's actually a big difference. When Mick Foley was thrown off a cell, he landed on a table. Is it the safest thing? No. Spots like that, when they're falling through tables, it breaks the fall. Is it the most comfortable thing ever? No, it's not like it's a big padded mattress, but it breaks the fall of landing directly right onto the really thin mat that covers the floor and then the concrete. For Shane McMahon, the same thing, falling through the table. It breaks the fall. Even when he fell off the big stage at SummerSlam in 2000, you know that there's a part of that stage that had padding under that thin wood so he can land safely. And I already know you're thinking about King of the Ring, where Kurt Angle did the German suplex through the glass. Yes, that was real glass, but it's not their fault.
It was supposed to be sugar glass, and it was plexiglass. So it was accidental. They ordered the wrong glass.
Shane McMahon got severely concussed and lacerations all over his body. And fun fact, Kurt Angle broke his tailbone in that match. My issue is the fact that the Darby spot was planned. Tony Khan allowed it, and he approved it, knowing his wrestlers are going to be put in dangerous spots where they can get severely hurt. Because you can reference the Mick Foley match and the Hell in a Cell match, but Mick Foley walked through the curtains. Vince said that was great. Don't ever do that ever again, please. My biggest problems with it and why I think it's really dumb is, one, it's real glass, so you're going to cut your body up, and you could potentially lacerate your body. You could cut an artery. Something could go wrong where there's big problems. Two, it's real glass. It's not going to break any fall. It shattered immediately, and he landed basically flat on the ground on that thin little mat with shards of glass all on his body. Three, it's glass. So when the glass shattered, it got all over everybody that was close by. Don't be surprised if the lady in the pink shirt sues, because you clearly see that she has glass on her. She's trying to get it off her. You're asking for a lawsuit. You're begging for a lawsuit. She could have gotten in her eyes. You know, the person next to her, they could have gotten her cup. She could have drank glass. Not good. I just don't understand shit like this, because this is shit you would see in backyard wrestling. You would see something like this at an indie show where they're using light bulbs and real glass to get a pop from the 50 people in the crowd. AEW is the #2 show in America. They don't need to be doing spots like this to put their wrestlers in real danger. It's just so unsafe. And I know that Darby Allin I'm sure it was his idea. I'm sure Tony Khan isn't like, yeah, you're going to jump off this thing, and Darby doesn't want to do it, because Darby's psychotic. Tony Khan needs to get some type of order, because it's just so unnecessary. It's so unsafe, and we don't need to do that. You could get a good pop from the crowd and not almost kill yourself. And on top of it, get glass on the crowd. Now, you might be fuming right now, but let's all just take a deep breath. I want to say that I do appreciate what he did. Darby created a moment that will most likely live on forever, and he did it in Sting's last match. So the good thing is that even if Sting's match sucked ass, at least you could look back on that and be like, all right, well, he did that crazy thing. At least there's something to remember Sting's last match for. But it was a good match, which makes it more unnecessary. So for that, I do want to thank Darby, because he created a moment that will live on forever. But at the same time, there's no need to be doing that shit. People would have remembered it anyway, because it's Sting's last match. And credit where credit is due, Darby Allin is a tough SOB. He's psychotic as hell. The fact that he only walked away with 12 stitches after all of that is crazy. He's very lucky, but please, can we just tone it down a little bit? And you might look at me and be like, oh, you're just a soft WWE wrestling fan. You wouldn't have handled ECW well. Well, yeah, that maybe not, but where's ECW today? Wrestling like that doesn't last long term. It's fun to see every now and again. Darby Allin's always doing some crazy shit. And I think I'm more concerned because Darby better chill out before his biggest spot is his last spot, because he's only 31, and to my understanding, he's a pretty good wrestler. Outside of the crazy shit he does, like, he's legit pretty good. And I respect him as a performer, but I just wish he was a bit safer. For example, I don't think anyone would have reacted any differently if it was sugar glass that he landed on. He didn't need to slice his body up. He could have just jumped through sugar glass and it would have been okay. Everybody would have still been talking about it just as we are now. Because he would have still went through, what, 16 to 20 feet in the air through glass? Wrestling is fake. Wrestling is scripted. The moves are real. You don't have to make it super real. I just don't know how much longer he can keep up spots like that. So I would just hope and pray that he just smartens up just a little bit, because because wrestling needs guys like that. You need guys that are going to do crazy shit, like Jeff Hardy, like Rob Van Dam, like Shane McMahon, like Mick Foley. I agree with that. There's like a fine line, too much and like just right. And something like that, to me at least, I just think it was just a little too much. It could have been Sting's last match, but it could have been Darby's last match too. Just use the fake glass. That's all I'm saying.